For those of us who are intimidated with Excel, this new Start With Copilot feature will really allow you to get up to speed and create a working spreadsheet faster than ever before. I'm talking about the new Start With Copilot feature that you might have seen when you press Ctrl+N or File New. It is designed to combat, and actually, frankly, leapfrog the Create New Table sidebar that Google Sheets has had. And it really makes anytime you go to File New, all of those templates, those were designed by my MVP friends. Yeah, those are mostly obsolete now. So anytime you press Ctrl+N or File New or just open Excel to a blank workbook, you get to Start With Copilot. Now, for those of you who are pros and say, I don't need this, you don't have to press the X. Just go to the grid, paste some data, start typing, and it goes away. There's no need to click that X. It's just going to go away as soon as you ignore it. One amazing thing is Start With Copilot is working even without AutoSave being turned on. That's a great sign. I hope that becomes the setting for all future things. And if you ask for something and they create a table and you don't like it, you can press the refresh icon to generate alternatives, or just type a suggestion for changing it, right? So it's very iterative, much better than the Google Sheets create a table. Now, one thing is if you get a version you like, or even a version you almost like, you should use the Keep It button to lock that in. I had a few where I tried to tweak it, and then the tweak was completely different, and I'm like, no, I just wish I could have gone back. So I'm going to be a big fan of this Keep It button. I don't know if this is good or bad. I'm not a fan of the Ctrl+T tables, and we've had this argument before. So it's always going to create a Ctrl+T table, and in my testing, if I'm asking for summary columns, those summary columns like running totals or something like that, it's not smart enough to do those correctly. Like, tables are tricky if you're trying to do running totals, and it's just not able to do that right now. Also, if your request includes like a dashboard or a summary of the initial table, well, Copilot could do that, but this feature can't, right? So you just have to get the table and then turn on AutoSave and use the Copilot icon up here. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so here's one. We'll ask for a personal monthly budget spreadsheet. And when I press go, a couple of things. All right, so it creates the table, puts in some fake data, has some nice conditional formatting there, which I appreciate. There are formulas here. Of course, it's using a table format. It does not like the summary, right? So there's an error there in that formula. I suppose we should send them a dislike. Always choose yes, you may contact me. Send that, right? Sending those in will improve this feature. All right, but this isn't bad. Let's try a few more. I'll press Ctrl+N to get a new workbook. Paste in a prompt asking for a project tracker. And you wonder, why is it using these colors? It's using these colors because that's the default table style. So you can always come up here and choose some other colors, or even go to page layout, choose a different color palette. If you want those, and then on the table design tab, you'll have different colors that you can choose from, right? So you're not stuck with those same colors they give you all the time. How about this, where we create a sales tracking spreadsheet for a small business? They put in some sample data. Hopefully this is a formula. Good. So units sold times unit price. Gives you a formula that you can use there. Cannot create a chart or a summary table. Okay, so far, the largest table I've been able to get is 20 rows. Here I'm asking for a table to calculate sales per capita for each province in Canada, which will be under the 20. Let's see how they do with this. Can they get us a complete list of the Canadian provinces? Okay, that seemed to work really well. Let's keep it. And then try the same thing for the 50 states. All right, here we go. Ah, great. That is really good. It gave us all the states. Now, here's the big question. We know that this is sample data. Obviously, in column C, they don't know what our annual sales are. But I'm really curious to see if the population is order of magnitude right or not. So I'll paste here as values, and then data, convert to geography, and equal this dot population. So is this anywhere from 98 to 108? At least it seems to be tracking in the same general vicinity. Like, is this from a different year? It'd be really nice to know where they got this data from. Is it real data or not? At least compared to the data type, it seems to be pretty close. That's the thing I don't know here. Like, are they smart enough to actually know what the population is? Which of this data is fake data and which of this data is the actual data? Okay, now let's try an weekly fitness tracker where we want days going across. See, now I feel like this did not give me what I wanted. So if I make a weekly fitness tracker with days of the week across the top and rows for exercise type, duration, calories burned, and notes. So there's calories burned, notes on the right hand side. And now it's kind of interesting here that if I press this button, they're going to get rid of what they have here and give me something completely different. Right? So it is possible that you could kind of iterate. But what's funny is if the previous one was what I wanted, I've just lost it. So this keep it button is definitely something that you want to use if you have one that you like. And I don't want to turn on AutoSave, right? But that just, locks this in. And then I can always just press Ctrl+N and try again. I can describe changes that I want for each weekday. Include a column for minutes and another column for calories burned. Keep that. Right, and this formula, unfortunately, is not correct. Let's try one for a vacation planner. Now this is one where I've seen this happen before. We ask for example data and it doesn't use it. So we can click refresh. So here I can see the first result and the second result and then decide which one I like. And we can say keep it. And then that locks it in. Here, let's try a spreadsheet to track the Excel functions I've learned. Right, let's take a look at what I asked for. Include columns for function name, category, date learned, sample formula, and notes. Right, so they did everything I asked for. Add conditional formatting to highlight functions I haven't practiced in over 30 days. I guess that's based on date learned. We'll click cancel here. Let's see what else they give me. It would be nicer if they gave me a list of all the function names, but I bet that's something they can't do. Include more function names as sample data. That didn't work. How about include all Excel function names as rows in the table. Hey, that's not bad. Thought they were actually going to give us all 500 of them, but at least they give us more and some sample formulas here. This isn't bad. I'll keep that. How about one with a spreadsheet to help memorize Excel keyboard shortcuts? Include shortcut key, action performed, category, and a checkbox for whether I've mastered it. Include the most popular keyboard shortcuts and sample data. Not bad. Let's refresh that, see what else they come up with. Good. Keep it. Okay, now it seems to be really good at building that first table, but then if we want a dashboard summary showing overdue tasks, that would be the filter function. I don't think it's going to be able to do that. All right, so it says I created the table to track meeting action items. However, creating a dashboard summary is not supported. Please insert the table and then use Excel's tools like pivot tables or charts to create the dashboard. This is one where the filter function would actually be perfect. So we'll say keep it. All right, I will reluctantly turn on AutoSave here so we can try the real Copilot. Home, Copilot. All right, so we asked for advanced analysis to use a new summary worksheet, filtering this data to status of overdue. And we click Add to a new sheet. Let's come back here and try something else. Overdue, and good. Hey, that's working. The dates are not formatted correctly, but pretty good. This is one where Copilot was able to create this starting table, and then we used the Copilot Advanced Analysis to create a filtered summary. That's good. In this one, we're going to look for daily coffee consumption by department in an office, and as for a pie chart, summarizing the data. Of course, it's going to be able to create that first table, but it won't be able to create the pie charts. We'll say keep it, name it, turn on autosave, and then under Copilot, create a pie chart showing total number of cups consumed by department. All right, we'll add to a new sheet. All right, cool, there you go. All right, should that be available in one step? Yeah, eventually, but right now, using the information we get from Ctrl+N, let's start with Copilot to get the table, and then using Copilot with autosave turned on to get the analysis. I think it's a pretty good first start here. All right, so the new Start with Copilot. I like it. It's a pretty cool. If it gets in your way, just ignore it, start typing, and you'll be fine. Hey, I want to thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time for another netcast from Mr. Excel. If you like these videos, please down below like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Feel free to post any questions or comments down in the comments below.